Happy Christmas.
To you.
It always seems to you when there are difficult questions. I'm only teasing, but that was a tricky one at Sunderland. Clearly, the manager was frustrated. Over the road, they're not taking action against Sir Alex for what he said to a referee, and yet they're looking at Roberto Mancini's remarks about Kevin Friend. Is there an injustice there, David?
What, is the question about the game, or is it about...
Well, the question is about the different treatment of managers who've done perhaps similar things, or some would say perhaps lesser things in respect to your manager.
To be honest with you, I've only picked up the paper this morning and seen it myself. So, I haven't seen the incident over at Old Trafford. I didn't see Robbie's interview. If they're just suggestions at this moment in time, we can't really comment on them anyhow. The one thing I do know is that whatever happens, we'll deal with our own stuff. There's no real concern about what's happening elsewhere.
One thing Roberto did say, he said that he thought they were a bit soft, your strikers or players. What's the toughening up process involved?
Well, I think that one, sometimes there can be a sort of a loss in translation from the way that he's doing it. I don't think he means that they're soft. I mean, we in the last few games, and certainly most of the season, we've produced enough efforts on goal that if you correlate the statistics, we should be scoring more goals, and I think that's all these references. These things have a habit of balancing out, I think, over a season. Goal scorers usually, when they get to the end of the season, have the same quota that they had. What we've got to make sure that we do is just keep producing the chances. But it's not just about the strikers, it's about anybody who gets into that opportunity, really. We've got to start scoring goals when we have a supremacy in a game, which we did.
I think when you lost at Sunderland last year, you then went on to a bit of a run, I think 7 straight wins or something like that in the Premier League. You're going to need to do something similar now, aren't you?
Not too sure it was 7, but...
Well, I think it was 6 out of 7 and you went out to the Carling Cup, but yeah, certainly.
Right, with the cup games as well, maybe. No, listen, I mean, 7 points is a significant amount, there's no doubt about it. United are in the driving seat. But with half a season to go, I don't think it's insurmountable by any stretch of the imagination. And it's not as though we're playing badly, we feel as though we're playing well. We're producing the efforts on target, like I say. We're dominating possession. We're dominating every statistic in most games, apart from the goals. We've got beat 1-0 in a game that if you throw those statistics into a computer, you'd come out and you'd win it. And I think if we played it 9 times out of 10, we would do. We haven't done. United scored in the last minute like we'd scored in the last minute against Reading, and this is the way that it'll go. There's no point in getting dramatic about it week in, week out. It'll be tight. We feel as though we've got the capabilities to produce enough points in the back half of the season to put a serious challenge in.
So too simplistic, or maybe even wrong, to say this is a must-win game against Norwich then, in that scenario of the title race?
Well, I mean, the fact of the matter is we can be dramatic if we want, and we can say that. But Robbie will be sat here probably prior to the Stoke game, and no matter what the results have been, we'll have the same questions. And I accept, and I think he does, that's the way that it is between now and the end of the season. But if you look at it from that perspective, between now and the end of the season, they'll all be must-win games. That at the end of the season, if we manage to win the league and we've lost a couple, then we'll have been proven wrong, wouldn't we? So we want to bounce straight back. We want to go down there. We want to produce a performance like we did do at Sunderland, but this time get the goals that our performance deserves. Really.
One of the remarks that has become popular in the last couple of weeks is suggesting that City don't have a plan B. I mean, I know Joe said that he thinks teams are working you out. I mean, how do you respond to that? I mean, there is a plan B. There's probably
again, it's a cliche, plan B, plan C. We've got enough people to make changes, to change the formation, to change the personnel. There are several plans during the game. We don't go into a game and look at it and think, well, if this doesn't work, we'll try something else. You read in the game as it goes along. Plan A worked. We produced enough chances on target. We just didn't put it away.
Thoughts on Norwich? Not an easy place to go, Manchester United.
None of them are easy to go. They'll make it very, very difficult. Watch the game that they played against United last night. They'll make it very, very difficult. They defend as a group. They're very compact, don't give a great deal away. And then they've got players that can hit you on the break. 2 wide boys have got pace. Ulahan will get it in little pockets. If they can get crosses in the box, they've got people that can attack it. So, it's a tough place to go to. But I don't see that many easy games in the Premier League. I really don't.
Can you call on anybody injury-wise that you haven't been able to call on of late?
Samir and Gale are back on the training pitch, so they'll be available for selection, I think. Carlos was a bit under the weather before the game against Sunderland. We gave him the day off yesterday, but more just to keep him away from the place. We don't want nothing like that spreading. But he should be back in this morning.
Mario, okay? Or
Mario's still feeling the effects of the virus.
can you give us any insight into January at all? I mean, I know that they're questions for the manager, not for yourself. Will there be any sort of personnel changes?
Questions for the manager, not myself. I don't know. I'd just be speculating, James. I really would. I don't know. I think January, and this is just an opinion, not based on David Platt, the assistant manager of Manchester City. It's an opinion based on just thoughts, really. That I think it's a very difficult market to go and work in. I think the kind of players that you would want to improve a squad like Manchester City or like one of the top teams, invariably are already playing for the top teams that are involved in some way, shape or form with chasing honours. So I think it's a difficult market to go and operate in. I wouldn't be surprised if we didn't do any business, put it that way. But I don't know. It's a question you can ask Robbie before the start.
Final point from me. I mean, you've managed at Nottingham Forest. I think 12 people have tried it since you were there. Alex McLeish comes in this morning. I mean, it's obviously a club that needs stability, but having managed it, is it a club that if you get the right man could go in the right direction, or is it a chaotic?
Certainly a club that could go in the right direction. Yeah, I mean, it's. I think what they did years and years and years ago in winning European Cups, I don't think is repeatable anymore for a small club. Don't get me wrong, but it's a Premiership club in everything, but its status at this moment in time.
David, just looking at the form of your strikers at the minute, Sergio Aguero has 1 goal in his last 8, Tevez 1 in his last 8, Balotelli 1 in his last 10, Dzeko 1 in his last 13. Considering the talent of those players, how surprising is it that they've struggled to find the net so much?
I think if you ask them, they'd be disappointed in the return over the games that they've played. But that, as I say, I think goal scorers go through barren spells. There's no doubt about it. We're just unfortunate that at this moment in time, all of them seem to be having one at the same time. But I wouldn't just blame them. I mean, if you look at the goals we scored last season to the goals that we scored this season, we're significantly down. And that's all around the pitch. We've got to produce better chances, and we've got to put them away. There's no doubt about it. But these are all players that have goal-scoring records over a period of years, where invariably, as I've just said, you'll get to the end of the season and that quarter will be back up to in and around the 1 in 1.5, 1 in 2 mark. It's just a fact of life for goal scorers that's usually what happens.
Do you think Norwich is an opportunity for them to get back to scoring ways? With the 6-1 win last year.
No, I think Norwich is a very difficult game. Like I've said before, that we have to go and we have to produce a performance that's capable of taking the 3 points. I wouldn't be disrespectful to anybody in the Premier League by saying that it's a game where we can go and we can fill our boots. Yes, we got a very, very good victory there last season, but that doesn't follow on that we'll do so again.
Well, like it's just a matter of time until they start firing again, though.
Well, we've got 19 games to go before the end of the season, and I fully expect that by the time we get there, some of them, if not all of them, will have that quarter back up, I think.
Thank you.
David, do you know when you lose Yaya and Tora, Yaya and Colo from the nation?
Well, sorry, do I know when we're losing?
When
The 5th, I believe, yeah.